So yeah, the old State Highway 5 Napier Taupo road is open. This is the dropout. They've fixed up, tar sealed, so single lane. Heck of a lot better than what has been in the last couple of days, so well done to these guys for doing that, getting this road open and getting it usable. So as you can see from some of my earlier videos, the road's quite a lot different. All the contractors that have worked on this road to clear this done an amazing job. Been a lot of machinery here, come in here. This is right up the up by the dump site, if you like, before Glengarry Road on State Highway 5, heading towards Napier. So yeah, this was there's a fair bit of mess around here, as I'll show you further on as we get to Elands. So as we start dropping down, there's a fair bit going on down the bottom here. As you can see, there's traffic lights. The road is open. Good to see the traffic flowing and people getting about their business. It's only open between 7 AM in the morning and 7 PM at night. Then it's closed so they can do extra work like tar sealing, etc., fix the potholes. Yeah, so it's great. So this is coming down into what's called Elands, heading towards Napier. And as you can see by the trees on the side of the road on the left here, they're the new kind of barrier for now, because there's a lot of dropouts, and some of those trees have all come down from through slips, and taken out the barriers. So they're temporary to stop anybody going over there, especially when you release the old public back on the road. So you can see a lot of trees there on the left there, just used as barriers for the dropouts. So still a lot of work to do there. Big mess on the right. There was a huge slip, came right down the gully through Elands, and a lot of these trees that ended up even down in Eskdale or Esk Valley, all came from, a lot of them came from up here, some of the big trees, and we're talking full-size pine trees and native trees that got washed right down into the Esk River and ended up right out into the beach, if you like, and doing some damage on the way. Coming up here on the left, there was another big massive dropout that was, yeah, half the size of the one, you know, the biggest one that caused all the trouble, but they dropped out these people's whole entrance to their home. And this dropout right in front of me, it was pretty big, so we're driving over the dropout. It was gone. There was just a big hole in the road. So good on the boys. I think it was Hicks and well, it's mainly Hicks, a little bit of Downers that repaired it. So well done to those guys. So as you can see, the road's clean. Silt's all been swept off because there was multiple dump trucks driving over here as the roads were getting sorted out. And just down here on the left was a big dump site that Hick Brothers and a few other contractors were carting a lot of rubbish and silt and trees into farmer's paddock on the left here where these machines are, and created a big dump site and buried a whole lot of stuff in there, so it was quite handy. So as you can imagine, the road was very, very silty and muddy through all that weather we had, but yeah, once again, they've done a great job cleaning it up. So a lot of this road just looks like normal now. So I don't know if you remember on one of my previous videos, one of the first ones I did, coming down this hill here, it was absolutely covered in pine trees that had dropped from the left hand side. Some huge slips. I don't know if you can see them. Try and straighten up the camera a bit. It's a phone. All these trees here that all came down off this face was just completely covered this road. So yeah, the contractors and a lot of the forestry guys came in with their machines and took all the logs away and processed them, and did a great job cleaning up. As you can see, once again, no silt on the roads. Guys fixing the Armco barriers that got wiped out by trees, and once again using some of the trees on the left hand side there as their Armco road barriers, which is clever, and it's done the job for now. I think they're a bit worried about the old public though. They'll probably end up moving all those very quickly, and that's why they need to close the roads at certain times so they can get all these safety barriers up for the public, because there is some idiots out there still. And all through here, this was all that silt you see on the left, it was all completely over the road. It's a heck of a mess down through here. Wiped out everything, fences, all the chorus telecom cables, power, everything. It took everything. This was all covered in silt right through here. You could hardly drive through here in some places. It was like one lane, very narrow, and you're driving through about a meter cut of timber and mud. When I first came up here, it was definitely four-wheel drive. So this is coming down off the hills in the passing lane. You can see where they've had a bit of a skid side on the left, where they've got rid of all those trees that were off the hill. Still a lot up in the hills above in front. Yeah, a lot of that had come down on the road, wiped out a lot of culverts, and that's all feeding into this another small river on the side here. It's feeding into the main Esk River, and really caused all the damage right down the bottom. Wiped out a lot of houses and people's livelihoods and homes, buildings, bridges, you name it. Yeah, very, very severe. One of the bridges I was always surprised I thought would be gone would be this one right in front of us. We're crossing now, and this was covered in silt and trees, but it stayed put. So yeah, good strong bridge. So we're not far away from Esk Valley, coming down into it. As you can see, there's guys still working on clearing culverts, moving silt. It's the biggest problem. There's all this silt and what to do with it. There's a big culvert down on the left there that completely washed out, quite an important one, and it got hammered, as you'd expect. So good to see they're repairing that pretty quickly. So coming down nearly into the Esk Valley itself, and this was one of the bridges that were quite damaged just by that pile of chip there. We used to have to drive off to the left and go underneath the bridge. There's actually an old original bridge around there that stayed put. This one did stay here, but as you can see, there's a heck of a lot of debris around it, and they had to do the approach a bit better. Half of that had washed out, so yeah, looking good. So going over the Munns Bridge, which is just entering the valley, Esk Valley, and you can see on the right there's still debris around, a few cars. That house over to the right there, that had moved about 200 metres, I believe. But you know, the roads, everybody's worked pretty hard to get all the rubbish off the roads and make them drivable a little bit slower, but it's better than taking somewhere like 7 to 8 hours to get to Taupo, going through Palmerston and the desert road, Turangi, and coming out at Taupo on the other side. And, so it's a bit of a drive. Still a lot of silt each side, but the roads are clean. So if you're worried about driving through here at any time, as long as you keep the speed down, there's a lot of workers still going, working on the side of the road, and there's a heck of a lot of traffic cops buzzing up and down here, so not much you can really get away with. good to see a bit of industry happening again in Hawke's Bay, and we really need it. We've been cut off pretty much for the last month. This road being open the first day today after a month. Big silt pile. This is where it all started to really get hit hard. It used to be the campground on the left. So taking all the rough, the munted up tar seal, and trying to make it a bit smoother for everybody to drive on. So all that stuff on the left, the big pile, that's all silt that's been dug out of pretty much around this area, off the roads, etc., so it could open it. So if you're worried about your car or driving through, it's all actually pretty safe. Roads are clean. There's no or very little mud. Get a little bit of water. Water cart's been through here to keep the dust down. Just good to see it been open. Such a beautiful day in the bay. We're in autumn now, and let's hope we have a fairly good winter, because there will be a lot of silt still laying washed into creek beds, river beds. The river beds are up high with silt and debris and gravel that are washed down from up above, and you know, it still could be a worry if we had any other heavy weather events in the next few months. So everybody's trying to make sure culverts, etc., are all clear and they can cope the best it can. You can see on the left there's still a tractor sitting on the fence. It's quite a hard case. It's been there ever since the event. So so this is down in the East Valley. So it's Eastdale. We're heading towards Napier Taupo turn off, heading towards Napier. So that was the last stop fuel, heading towards Taupo. You still see there's a lot of debris around. Everybody's still working to get places open. All these properties are pretty much trashed. People trying to find all their belongings, really. There's still cars sitting in paddocks, still caravans, houses, you name it. That house there has moved, I've been told, close to 100 metres. It was further up the valley, and it got washed as a complete home all the way down. So big ups to Platinum Home, it stayed intact, and they tell me the fireplace hadn't even cracked, so that's pretty cool. Oh, these vineyards and apple orchards, they're just absolutely toast. You can see on the right here, a lot of vehicles being dragged out, still been, you know, in the back paddocks, and just dragging them all out the front because they're all knackered, and they're going to have to be taken away, and insurance. Look how deep that silt is on the right. Where do you put it all? What do you do with all this stuff? It still blows my mind, and I've been driving through here nearly every day for a month. With all our guys, we've been trying to open roads further up in the Tipahui area. We've got all our crews up there, busily working, trying to open all the side roads to get through to Tutera and Wairua, etc., because completely cut off. Devil's Elbow and State Highway 2 been absolutely obliterated from the Tongoia Hills. So this is the stuff you might have to contend with when coming through, but it is at least open. Not too many stop and go areas, but just has to be done. The last thing I want to hear is people complain about having to sit in traffic to come over here, because that's bad luck, because otherwise you've got a big drive, and everybody here is just trying their best to open the road, especially this is the first day. They want to keep it open, so as long as the public play the game and don't whinge, just drive it, take your time, and enjoy your drive. And there's still a lot of debris around, and you'll still see a lot going on of what's happened from the devastation. So take a look to the left here, this vineyard, and how deep the silt is and where it is up those rows. It's absolutely, you can just about step over the post to get into each row. Not sure how they're going to do that. If you think about it, you get a digger or something in there, you've got all the wire, posts and all the other debris to contend with, so not something I'd like to do. But all through here, this was over a metre and a half, 2 metres deep of silt through this road. It's all been removed and taken back to that big stockpile that we saw earlier. So nearly at the Napier Taupo turn-off, and as you can see, it's still, all the debris hasn't gone out of the paddocks yet. That hasn't been priority. Look how high that water's been up on that tree there, with that plastic, etc. up there. And over through here, the railway lines have just been totally obliterated. Still a truck sitting upside down over there in the gully, as you can see there. So this here was completely wiped out all through here. Still a lot of rubbish in there. That power station was toast. Look at those railway lines down there, just bent like a banana, just from water going through here, tearing it to pieces. Last little bit, sorry if it was a bit boring seeing all this and going on and on, but a lot of people want to see how the roads come up. As you can see down here, she's still that was right up to the top of the roof, down in here, down through here. So we're out. It's the Napier Taupo turn off, and we're heading back to Napier. So hope you enjoyed it, and you see what the Napier Tower, the work that's gone on here since my very first video.